What up, though? What up, though? Who checking in? Boston, I see you. I see you. Yes, sir. There he is, the man of the hour.
What's good, brother?
Come on, how you feeling, baby?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Everybody healthy. Feeling great, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. The fam good. We just quarantining, baby. You quarantining, you know what I mean? It's an honor and a pleasure, brother. I follow your podcast. I don't listen to too many podcasts, but I enjoy
Yeah.
yours, man. So, all my people, my friends, my family is following. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, just to kind of just self-educate myself and educate my people in the process. And it's just certain people I select, and you happen to be one of them. So let me introduce you the right way. This is Trent Shelton. He's a former football player, a philanthropist, an author. What am I forgetting? A speaker, a motivational speaker, that is. Am I forgetting anything?
That's it, bro. Pretty much. You covered it, bro. Man, I appreciate you sharing your platform, man. And like I told you, bro, I've always been a fan, bro. Like I don't want to get too far into it, but like
Yeah.
2005, my senior year at Baylor, bro. That was our theme song, bro.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Got
the
to be
whole
there.
album, Thug Motivation, the whole album, man. So I
For
appreciate you, bro, and
sure.
I appreciate what you're doing with your platform, bro. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like it's what we got to do. Like, as far as people like ourselves, we got a high frequency when it comes to like serving others, and just and I've been had that gift, beyond music for me. So it's always been where I just always wanted to give back what I get. That's probably how I wrote some of my best albums and songs. I got information from just moving around, and then what I would do was just put it into music. And people said it was motivation. I was like, yeah. So and I stuck with it because that's who I am at heart. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you is I listen to what you do on your podcast, and I watch how you move. And I saw you with my guy the other day, John Maxwell. That's my
Yeah,
guy. That's my
yeah.
guy. You know what I mean? Like, I love John. He a real one. And I just want to reach out because I know you had a couple things going on. And first and foremost, like, I want people to hear you speak. You know what I mean? Especially on my platform. And while we here, I just want to start off by saying, well, asking the real question. How does one, and I'm speaking for everybody listening, how does one stay motivated in these times?
Yeah, bro, that's a great question. And I think it might be different for everybody, but I think the universal answer is you got to find meaning, bro. And so, like, when I think about my life, my rock bottom, and obviously it was me getting cut from NFL when I felt like my life was over. I mean, that was my everything. So when that was gone, I was like, what do I do?
Right.
And how I got out of that rock bottom was I found meaning in the struggle. And what I mean by that, during these times of COVID-19, during these times of you losing things, during these times of, because this is more of a mental health crisis than it is a physical crisis anyway.
Right. Yeah,
You
you
got to
believe that?
find, yeah, you got to find some type of deep meaning because I've learned this, man. There was a book called Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know if you heard of it by Victor Frankl. It was about him
Man search for.
for meaning.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's about him being the Holocaust and surviving it. And he basically wrote a book about how he survived it. And basically, he found meaning and he found his purpose. So I feel like you can find your purpose in the struggle, then you can create strength in your life to be able to get through anything. And there's going to be two types of people in this, right? There's going to be somebody who, and rightfully so, goes through this and loses things, and it's the rest of their story because of this bad chapter. Or it's going to be people that say, because of this struggle, I'm gonna create something great. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna build and I'm gonna look back on this and say, you know what, because of 2020, this happened. And so you got to make up your mind. You either got to sink or you got to swim and find a meaning in this struggle.
Right. That's real. Sink or swim. That's real. So in layman's terms, it's basically like, you got to find, passion in your pain. So
Absolutely.
whatever you're going through, you got to use that as your energy, as your jet fuel, as your source. Where you pulling from? I mean, even like myself, I come from hard times, hard backgrounds, and for me, it's just like this is like a phase where everything slows down, and this is when I know the cream rises to the top. If you're able to, if you're able to, like we say, make lemons out of lemonade, we'll make turn lemons into lemonade. Then you're able to see the good end of that. And I think a lot of
Absolutely.
times, like, staying motivated, it's crazy that you say it's a mental thing, because I don't think a lot of people know it. I want you to explain, like mentally, how it challenges you.
Absolutely, bro. Like, this is the thing, man, with motivation. Like, and this might sound crazy to say this because it might not sound motivating at all, but
Right.
we depend on motivation too much. And what I mean by that is that we wait on it, right? We wait on till we're feeling right. We wait until we're feeling good to actually do something. And we all know if we live life like that, it's gonna be like an up and down roller coaster. Because I'm gonna just be real, 40% of the time when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like doing it, but I do things that make me feel like doing it. So for me, I always say movement influences mood. So I'm hiking, I'm working out, and I'm
Right.
doing the things and getting around the right energy to be able to place myself in that right mindset to be able to have that motivation. And so anytime I'm tapped into things that I love and my purpose, I'm always finding motivation in it. So you got to ask yourself, people watching this is like, what could I do every single day to put myself in that mind frame to be able to conquer
Mm.
these struggles?
So that's basically like a routine.
Absolutely.
Like
You got to
morning
have one.
routine. How do you get it? Because I'm like that too. If I don't start my morning off a certain way, they just ain't good. If I ain't
Exactly.
getting up, meditating, you know what I mean, doing my push-ups, sit-ups, reading something, going through my affirmations, like it doesn't work out right. But it's crazy because I feel like a lot of us, even for me coming from where I'm from, we always thought things like that are not cool, and it took me to
Yeah.
get a little older and to have more things to juggle than even juggling my mental, you know what I'm saying? Like just protecting my energy to understand like you really have to take time to protect your energy. If that's breathing, if that's reading, if that's hiking, wherever you find your inner peace at, you have to have that because with what's going on in the world, if you don't have any inner peace, it's going to be, it's going to be chaotic anyway. Like your thoughts are not going to be clear. And right now you have to be forward thinking because, basically the government done let us down. Like we out here, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Facts.
we got to
Facts.
figure it out. Jumping to another subject. So it's crazy that you mentioned because I kind of got hip to you because I was like, damn, you was a football player, but it seemed like to me it's like that was your talent, but this was your passion to,
Yeah.
to help people. And it's like when you didn't play football anymore, it kind of felt like you found yourself. Because, we know so many football players, but we don't know a lot of motivational speakers that used to be football players. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me about that.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, football was my dream, bro. It was what I wanted to do since I had two older brothers since I can 5 years old. That's all that I knew. But this is what I tell people oftentimes, and people don't want to hear this sometimes, but I feel like there's a difference between your dream and your calling, right? What you want to do versus what you are called to do. And sometimes that goes hand in hand, but for a lot of us, it doesn't. And so football was a period in my life. And that's why you see so many athletes struggle because their whole identity is wrapped up into that. It's like, okay, after this, what do I do? And so it really took me like letting go of it, bro, in order to grab a hold into like I feel like what God had for my life. Because
Right.
I had this calling my whole life. Like people saying, "Oh, you're gonna be a speaker," and I'm an introvert by nature. So I was like, I ain't trying to be that. Like a speaker, I ain't trying to write no books. I ain't trying.
Right.
I wasn't. Even, I was so blinded because I was so focused on what I wanted to do. I was blinded to what I was created to do. And so once I opened up and I accepted it and I walked into it, because it was fearful, man. Like speaking in front of people, I was scared to do that, to be real with you. And I
So
walked
how,
into
how do
that.
you how do you get on the field with thousands of people? Then you don't want to. It's crazy. You know
Bro,
what I'm saying?
it's crazy. I don't know if it was a thing of like just like I said, me being an introvert by nature on the football field, it's just you so locked in. It's just what I was programmed to do all the time. Like it's a different mindset when I'm out there. Like I always say, it's kind of a different identity that I take on when I step onto the football field. And then when you're speaking, it's obviously like everybody's watching. You're afraid to mess up. You're afraid to be judged. You're afraid to, you want to be perfect. I think like the
Right.
number one fear in the world is public speaking. So
Right. Right. Right.
I
Yeah,
had to overcome that.
I feel you though, because the first time I really got on the stage, it was because when I was first coming up, I didn't even have stages in the club I was going to. I used to have to get on top of the speaker and do my joint. I remember doing that, and it got to a point I was Summer Jam. It was like 70,000 people, and one year I was bringing Jay-Z and Kanye out, and this is in New York City, and it was real. But I told myself it's just a bigger speaker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You standing on top of a bigger speaker. You gotta do what you would do. And I killed it. And, we had that phobia about, New York didn't like down south rap at the time. So
Yeah.
it was crazy. But even for myself, I tell people all the time, like, like you can't let and one thing I do respect about, what you're saying is you can't be boxed in. I've
Absolutely
been through
not.
a lot of things in my life, And it's just like, if you're just gonna judge me for my artistry, and then that's all the worth that I have to the world, then I don't know about that, because my mind is so more complex. So as I get into other things, real estate, entrepreneurship, mentoring, leadership, speaking, whatever, what have you, all those are different challenges that I want to accomplish. But I respect the fact that you went with your heart, and you went and created something else for yourself, and you used the football stance as your platform. You know what I mean? When speaking of that, like, say right now you got a lot of people out there who's going through a rough patch. Like, they're going through a rough patch. They don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. They don't understand what's happening with the world. They're having family issues. I mean, as you can see, people separating left, right, people getting put out of their house. And I know that's a bigger part, but like mentally, what would you tell someone how to handle that, their losses now, to turn them into wins later? Like, how do they sustain what they're going through to come out on top?
Yeah, bro. To try to wrap it up quickly, like for me in this, I can talk about this for 3 hours, man. Like, I think the first thing you got to change your mindset when it comes to failure, when it comes to
Right,
hard times. And you got to realize that any strength is created from pain, like facts. Anything that grows is come from a place of struggle. And so you have to like flip your perspective. I love to say your perspective needs to be your power, your prison. And so some people listening to this right now might be like, oh, that's easier said than done. That's a prison perspective, because you're looking for ways not to be able to be that person that you were called to be. You got to flip it. And so for me, the thing that I realized, bro, is that peace is something that I would, even to this day, that I can never experience if I keep allowing the things that I can't control to control me. And so I'm always focused on what can I control in this moment? Like, what
right,
could I do? And whether it's mentally, spiritually, whether it's my environment and what I'm around, because your environment is everything. Mindsets are
right,
contagious. And so I take responsibility and change the things that I need to change. So, you know what? Even if this is a small step, it's a small step towards the right direction. So I would
right.
just challenge people, like, what's that small step that can move you into the right direction? And the journey usually reveals everything else once you take that first step.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. Like, I accept my failures. I really, like, I need them.
Yeah,
Because if you just winning, it becomes numb, and once you win and you don't celebrate your wins, and it doesn't fulfill you, then you already lost. So
absolutely.
for me, I just go by the phrase, like, I don't lose, I learn. And anything I jump into, I leave room for that. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna keep my head up and my chest out every time. So it don't matter if it's good or bad. I know I didn't lose. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. So I gotta go try something else. The thing is, you gotta keep trying. You gotta keep trying something else. You just can't stop. Just because you fail. Um, like right now, as far as like what's going on in the world, what do you feel? Us as black men, just out here, just going through what do you feel we should do to keep ourselves, um just keep yourself sane? Like, I know
Yeah,
the ritual, like, but what do you do, like, to keep yourself, you know because there's so much tension, there's so many things going on, your mind's being pulled in so many different directions, and everybody might not know how to hike, everybody might not know how to, everybody might not be into reading. And I know you got
yeah,
a book too, we got to get in that before we get off. What advice would you give them?
yeah. I'm gonna tell you you gotta protect your mindset. And so whether you don't like to read, whether you don't like to hike, you gotta check your environment, and you gotta have conversations with people. There's so many, and mental health is becoming more open now. Especially with us black men. Like, we're taught to keep things in, keep things inside, and anything
Right.
we suppress is gonna turn into depression. So it's about,
Oh, wait, go back. Anything you suppress
yeah, it
will
will
turn
turn
into
into depression.
depression. Wow,
Absolutely.
that's deep.
Absolutely.
That's deep.
And that's even things in my life that I got to remind myself every single day, because oftentimes we don't voice our situations, and we keep these battles silent. And I think the worst battle is a silent battle, because it's a battle right here that you're dealing
Right,
with. It's like crying out for help without saying a word. So you got to find people that you can talk to, that you can have community with, and be able to have these conversations like me and you are having, be able to reach out and say,
right,
I'm struggling with this. Like, what are you
right,
doing? How are you getting through it? And I think the
right,
more information we can get, the better off we'll be. So I think it's about information and conversations.
right. And also, all my families out there listening too, like, you can't be scared to ask somebody for help. You can't be scared to let somebody you're going through something or you in a space you don't really understand, and it's a rough patch, because you never know. Just my greatest things I ever done is because I reached out. I was like, y'all don't understand this. How because I know a whole lot about a little bit. I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once you realize that, you're a lot better. And I just feel like sometimes, us as men, like we don't want to reach out and holler at somebody about what we don't understand, because the ego in us wants to say, I know everything. I made it this far. Can't nobody tell me nothing. But it's crazy you said. If you say that one more time, you
Yeah,
suppress it.
yeah. Suppression turns into depression. So the things you suppress, they don't go away, right? They just stay down, and you get depressed from it. And so I was actually listening to something today that was talking just about anger and how even expressing anger is necessary and in a constructive way, because if
Mhm.
you don't express it, it's gonna turn into depression because you're suppressing it down. So
Right.
I'm really big on that, man. Just opening up, and like you said, help is, I realized this over my life because I used to think it was a weakness, but I think help is one of the greatest strengths that you can
You,
actually ask for.
you say you used to think it was a weakness too.
Yeah, I used to think it was a weakness because even just being a football player or just anything, just maybe the stigma that came with it. Like as a man, you ain't supposed to ask for help. You're supposed to get it on your own. And I
Right.
realized, man, every time I've asked for help, I got the help that I needed.
Right.
Every time I've asked for help. And
Right.
whether it be in business, whether it be in my personal life, it's
Right.
people that want to help you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I
It,
asked
it
for it.
couldn't it couldn't wait to help you. It's like that help, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. Like, I had to learn that myself. It's just like when you help and you serve other people, it helps you inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. It just makes you feel better about what you got going on. And even if you got a little stressful situation going on, you helping someone else just makes you feel better about what you're doing. Not that you need anything in return, but it just takes the attention off of you and what you're going through and what's going on in your mind. Let me ask you this though. So right now, like, what's the most valuable lesson you learned during these times and all the things that's going on as far as you?
Wow. Man, I think COVID-19, just where the world's at right now, man, it really, and I feel like I had a vision of this anyway, or hold on this, but it really made me focus even harder on the things that truly matter in my life.
Right.
Um, because this is supposed to be my busiest year speaking. I was supposed to be traveling everywhere. Obviously, I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
speaking
hey,
nowhere for,
listen, it was
yeah.
supposed to be everybody's business.
Yeah.
like throw
2020.
hey, like throw the whole year away. Start
So,
over.
man, it really hit me, but it got me to sit down because it got me, now I'm able to coach my son's football team. It's got me to able to focus on my family even more. Help, even my mom is battling cancer right now, so I'm here with
Right.
her. So it made me focus on the things that truly matter, because we spend our whole life a lot of times chasing the things that don't. So it just
Mm,
really exposed that to me.
right. And for me, I feel like it gave me time to sit down and really assess all the things in my life, from different levels to relationships, to spirituality, to business ventures, to people around me, to it just gave me time to like really just sit back and look at everything and really evaluate and do a data search of what's important, what is going to take for me to go to the next level in life, and understand that, because I even when I was in the streets, that was my mentality. Like, I have to get information, I have to be around certain type of energies to pull from, so that I'm able to keep going. Because if you don't have any fuel and you're just driving, you're going to run out of gas eventually.
Facts.
So you have to go around people, and it's crazy that you said, because going back to the mental health thing, it's like a lot of us need energy, good energy over the bad. But if you're not able to be out and you're not able to interact with people, and you're not able to, you know, pull up here where you used to go and that was your favorite place to go, and you know, if people like to go out because they just like to go and release and feel good about what they're doing. Like, how do you still connect with people now that you're not, with the social distancing and everything going on with
Yeah.
COVID? Like, how do you still get that energy?
Yeah, bro. So as far as on a scale of social media wise or a personal scale?
It's both. Well,
Personal, yeah.
yeah, personal, yeah.
So personal, man, is actually deep in my relationships because now I'm able to, now it set me down and I'm able to actually reach out and check up on people and actually have FaceTimes. Man, I have probably more FaceTimes ever now that I'm, I'm talking to people now.
Yeah,
So
FaceTime is the new.
quick
It's
to
real.
FaceTime people. And so, and it's helped me just ask deeper questions with my friends and like really
Mhm.
diving deeper just on a mental health level and just a spiritual level. Like, man, like you was really going through that. I didn't even know that. And so
Right.
it's just really deep in relationships for me during this time for sure.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's also too like, just me being in a leadership position is I think is, especially for me, like it's the right time to empower other leaders, bring them together. Like what we're doing now, I really wanted to get you, and it's crazy because a lot of people don't know we never formally met. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You listen to my music, I listen to your podcast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I might listen to your podcast in the gym. Like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? And I like the way you do it as well because you do it mostly by yourself and you kind of just vent and give your your take off. But it's just like these are crazy times, and I just really want to you know let the people hear from you, especially on my end, about um, you know, what you feel, because you're out there speaking to people all the time, and you're
Yeah.
doing speaking engagements, and you're motivating people on the side, and for people like us, we just want to help, and I think sometimes helping is just giving them the information, and that's why I want to do this because I want to make sure they're able to hear the information from people like yourself and people like me, and we definitely gonna be playing for your mother, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, bro.
And I
Appreciate
hope
it.
she's well and the family's good. And is there anything you want to plug while you here? I know you got this book. You gotta send me an autographed copy, the whole nine. I need that. You
Got
know what I'm
you.
saying? So if you want to get in there, because we got a couple more minutes, it's all you.
For sure, man. Well, first of all, I appreciate you, bro. And like I said, this is needed. It's so needed, bro. And just in the world, us not even us coming together, but just people in general seeing this and being like, man, what can we do as a community just to come together and help people? Because that's how we're going to change anything in this world, us coming together. But
Right.
yeah, I have one book that's out right now called The Greatest You. I tell people that's more of a reader's book, but it's still a simple read, but it's one of those books that
The greater
the
you,
greatest you, the
the
greatest
greatest you.
you.
Got it.
Yeah. So that came out last year. And then the book that's coming out August 4th is called Straight Up. And it's targeted to young adults, but it's for everybody. So I tell people, you like my videos, you like my podcast, I feel like this is the book that you'll really like. Easy read. And I'm just being straight up about 52 like topics: relationships, mental
Right.
health, pain, depression, whole bunch of stuff.
So, and the podcast is called
Straight Up. Yep.
Straight Up. And I can't let you get off. I can't believe I was gonna let this question slip. What made you want to become a motivational speaker? Like what clicked for you to say, you know what, this is what I want to do?
Yeah. So that's a deep question, bro, because I never wanted to be one, right?
Right.
I never wanted to be one. It came to me, and it came to me. I'm
Mm.
not gonna tell the whole story, but
Right.
it was a friend, a close friend of mine that played with me at Baylor, played with me with the Redskins, and his dad, Dr. Tony Evans, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship. He comes to me and is like, "Hey, speak at my event." I didn't want to speak, and at that time I was trying to do music, so I was like, "I can rap at your event or something like
What
that."
what
And
your
he
rap
was,
name was?
it was just shells, man, shells. That's,
Oh,
that's
okay,
what I call
okay.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was really into that, bro, and he's like, nah. He's like, I see something inside you don't see in yourself. He's like, I spoke to you before. I've been around you, and it's kids. So it's like 5,000 kids, and speaking in front of kids is the hardest thing ever. Make a long story short, I get up there, I forget everything I prepared, I go blank, and I just say, God, use me. And I spoke from the heart. And after these kids come up to me, and was like, man, I needed that. Some kids crying, and that's the moment. Literally, bro. I was supposed to go to football the next day, arena football. That's the moment where I quit everything. I said, I'm not going to football. I'm doing this full time. And I didn't have no following online, anything like that. And 4 months later, video started going viral. So make a
Wow.
long story short, it was the confidence that I felt in the midst of my biggest fear that let me know that this was what I was supposed to do with my life.
There it is, brother. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Man, appreciate you, and anything I can do to help support, I'm here, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, pushing the line and pushing the culture. We appreciate you, G.
Appreciate you, bro. Same thing, man. I got you,
Love.
bro.
Already.